guys, I am Alejandra Martinez and I am a realtor here in San Antonio, Texas with Clark Realty, and today I'm going to educate you a little bit about buying a new home and buying a resale home, pros and cons in those two. So stick around until the end to hear all the great information. Pro number one on buying a new home. You are getting a brand spanking new home, okay? You are going to get a clean home. Nobody has ever lived in it. You won't have to do any updates. You won't have to repaint the home. Everything's going to be based on what you like. Number two, you will not have to do any repairs. If you purchase a brand new home, there's not going to be any repairs, anything is going to be damaged. No, everything's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. At the time you move in, you won't have to do any repairs in a couple of years. Number three, you will not have to modernize anything. Everything's going to be all updated, all modern. Everything's going to be what you desired. So if you wanted granite countertops, if you wanted wood flooring, all of that is going to be completed and it's going to look amazing. Number four, you will maybe be able to receive some incentives from the builder. Usually builders kick in a couple of incentives of paying closing costs, maybe throwing in some appliances, some landscaping. There's a lot of great incentives builders could throw in, especially if they're trying to move homes in the area and they're not moving as quickly. They'll try to incentivize, that way whenever you make the purchase, you are more than likely to feel very comfortable and happy with your entire purchase of your home. Now let's talk about the cons, right? Because there's cons to everything in life. The cons are going to be that it's probably going to be a little bit more expensive than versus you buying a home that has been built 2 years ago, okay? If you buy the same floor plan, the same everything, but it's 2 years old, you're more than likely going to get it for a better price. So number two, length of time. If you are picking out your lot, your floor plan, your cabinets, everything, and starting from scratch, then you are going to look at least a minimum of 5 months. So that might not be the best selection for you if you decide that you have to move within the next 3 months. And then in addition to that, sometimes people don't like to maybe move in with in-laws for 5 months. So those are things that you should consider. Number three, now they do have some spec homes, and with those spec homes, they're also considered inventory homes. That's something that are probably maybe like halfway done or maybe 2/3 done, and with those you will not have to wait a whole 5 months. You could probably move in much faster, and with those, the trade-off is that you're actually not going to get to really pick your floor plan, your color, your countertops, your cabinets. That's kind of like a trade-off. Like, do you need to move in fast? We could look at inventory homes, or if you really want to just kind of wait and build everything and have it super custom, that's something that you would have to consider. Pros and cons with new homes. All right, now let's talk about resale, right? If you buy a resale home, then usually it's less expensive. That's just like the number one thing. Less expensive, you won't have to pay as much for that home. Now, number two, usually with resale homes, they already have window covers, they already have appliances, the landscaping is done and all that, so you don't really have to worry too much about that, right? So that's kind of like the advantage. Now, number three, for resale homes, usually landscaping is already mature. It has trees, beautiful trees that have been around forever. And think about it, when you buy a new home, usually builders bulldoze the entire land and then they just rebuild. So you don't really see those like natural shade that you might desire, especially in San Antonio with this Texas weather. Now let's talk about the super obvious comps, right? There's people that choose crazy colors. And when you walk into the home, you're like, I'm going to have to paint every room in this house. So there's going to be a little bit of work that you might put into making it your own and feeling at home. Now, number two, there's homes that also sometimes have wallpaper, and they might have it throughout the entire home, and it's not super desirable at this point. So you might have to be peeling that wallpaper, and it might be a struggle, and you might not like that option of putting all that work into it. Now, number three, perhaps the appliances are outdated. Maybe the foundation, the HVAC, the roof has not been touched in years. And those are some of the major repairs that a home does need. So you might have to consider, if you are buying a home, how old is it and how soon are you going to have to make these major updates? So you have to really consider if you want to buy a fixer-upper, something that you're going to have to put some work into it to make sure that you make it your own and to make sure that you feel at home. Do you really want to put in that work? How much money do you have to be able to make all these repairs? That's something that you have to consider whenever buying a resale home. Alright, so now that you have learned about the pros and cons of buying a new and a resale home, give me your thoughts. I would love to really help in the process and educate you on every single home that you look at, and that way we could be able to get you on your way to your dream home.